what am I doing here? Why do I do this to myself?
This race just constantly keeps hitting you, completely physically destroyed, but mentally more alive than you've ever felt in your life.
This race is so hard.
Le Mont-Blanc, c'est le toit de l'Europe. C'est aussi le symbole de cette course, l'Ultra Trail du Mont-Blanc. Il va nous dominer.
It's special for sure. It's a very big race.
The UTMB is the greatest racing week in trail running in the year, and it culminates with 3 finals races, with the Queen race really being the complete circle of Mont Blanc, the rooftop of Europe.
Very busy. Feels like Chamonix fever. All the runners are here. You can feel it. UTMB is in the air already. My name is Tony McCann. I am a professional trail runner and I am from Cape Town, South Africa. 7 days to go. 7-day countdown, 1 week. I'm excited that it's here. I'm nervous, obviously. It's exciting. I'm ready for the atmosphere and the event and for everyone to come. And can you imagine just the street lined with so many people?
Tony McCain, who's recently relocated to Europe, she's on the Terex team, and this has really become a second family to her. She's a rising talent in the trail running scene right now.
I love running. It obviously takes up a lot of time. I've chosen this profession where I get to spend a lot of time in the mountains, which for me feels like a dream. Bastien is probably my biggest supporter. He's not the reason I moved to France, but he's definitely a reason I want to stay. I feel very lucky to have him in my life. He's been with me through some challenging moments this year and has been very supportive through it all. Cafe? Preparations for OCC this year have been less than ideal. And then I transitioned into the running season and was feeling great and obviously had a good race at Transvolcania. So it was all doing good, but unfortunately I did come away from that race with an injury. Quite painful. The cycling also resulted in a broken collarbone. So I ended up having to sit on an indoor trainer. The specific training for OCC has definitely been lacking this year. So in some ways I feel quite underprepared.
Merci. Merci pour ton aide.
I'm Allie McLaughlin, and I'm from Colorado in the U.S., and I'm a trail runner for Hoka.
Allie McLaughlin is a terrific athlete, an incredibly talented trail runner. She is an uphill specialist. She's won the Pikes Peak. She was at the World Championships this year representing the USA. She's just a great personality.
Trail running is my main sport, but I do a lot as hobbies, and I wouldn't necessarily call them sports. I see sports as like being competitive, and so the activities I do, I'd say more like are art or fringe activities, we call them sometimes. the danger of it just is really attractive, of like learning how to be super responsible for yourself and attentive to detail. And so it's just like that accomplishment of getting over something that's scary and getting better at it, and it's pretty fun in the process. It's not my typical preparation, no. However, I mean, I've skydived for years and I thought it's always fun. Yeah, I just want to do it all, and especially Europe is such a great place for the air sports, and so I'm like, oh, I'm going to Europe, I'm taking all my toys. And,
the OCC stands for Orcier Champelac Chamonix. It's got 3,500 meters of climbing. It's a tough race, probably the toughest 55-kilometer race in the world.
I am extremely nervous. There's a lot of excitement in the air, and I think we are all in the same boat, feeling the tension of the start line.
after hearing a lot of talk the last few days, one specific comment came to mind that someone said, Allie didn't go out that fast last year. That kind of stuck with me, so I'm gonna do what I did last year, if not faster. But make sure I feel good, and waiting for the gun to go off.
The start line at OCC is always wild. It is so fast, and the road is so narrow, so everyone is trying to hustle and push for position, and you don't want to get caught in the back because it's really hard to claw your way back if you get caught behind people.
Well, the race starts with a massive climb up to Champelac, and then there's a small flat section. It climbs up the legendary climb of the Bovine, which is a rhythm-breaking climb. And the course recently changed. It dives down into the small little village of Triant, and then it climbs out of Triant, climbs over the Col de Baume with a spectacular view of the Mont Blanc, and then it descends down into Argentière and climbs across above the hillside, the mountainside, and dives back down at Flégère into Chamonix. A very, very difficult race.
I can see Ali ahead of me, and I can see her charging. But there's a group of us, and we're all kind of running together and sticking at the same pace. And I remember thinking that this was comfortable, and that I could hold this, and feeling like my breathing is in check, and listening to the breathing of the girls around me, and noticing a few who weren't breathing super comfortably.
I get nervous sometimes when I'm following, so off the start I kind of like to be in the lead, so I'm gonna take a few steps here. And now I'm all with the guys, and I actually can see the leaders, but it feels like a comfortable pace. We are in Murin. This is my third time here, but first time as a base jumper. The reason I heard about it 6 or 7 years ago was it's a big base jumping spot. And a lot of friends come here from the US to base jump, so I hear about it all the time, and so to finally be back this year as a base jumper finally is really special. It's a base jump off a paraglider, so James is gonna take me up tandem. It's about finesse. So we'll see how we do. And when I'm base jumping, it's like the Matrix. I'm so focused, I'm so in the moment. I really put all the noise of different aspects of life kind of aside. And yeah, that's actually when I'm in a race, it's very similar, or when I'm on a long run or a workout. I do think it helps with nerves at the start of the race. You know, over like a base jump is a lot scarier in my mind. It takes a toll, and you know, there's stuff called adrenal fatigue, and like, I mean, I'm not quite there, but I think there's been times it's like, oh wow, I have been jumping a lot. I think like, I'm gonna definitely have to learn how to balance it all. I'm coming up to Champagne Lock. I'm already like feeling a little burn, and I just noticed that Jennifer and Tony are right here with me.
I remember thinking it was maybe a good time to catch her and try and hang on.
They actually just passed, and oh gosh.
We're doing really well until we hear some pounding footsteps coming up behind us, and Meow Yao flies past us. She is flying. I see our team manager, Robert, and he comes up to me and he starts running beside me, and he tells me,
be confident. That's not a gap yet. That's not even a gap. Come on. Super good, Tony. Come on.
I think the Terex management have done something magical with the Terex team. We get along so well, and they've definitely become an extended family for me. You know, within the team, we've got such a range of experience, and I definitely think I was one of the least experienced in the team, which is why having someone like Peter, you know, all of these athletes have such amazing experience and have so many more years in their sport than I do. So to get to spend a good amount of time with them, you learn so much.
It's been so cool to follow her journey and like seeing her progressive in the mountain terrain. Of course, I've raced OCC before, so I can give her some tips, of course.
I think when you're training, there's only so far you can go on your own. And when you have the team support and their knowledge and their experience that you can draw on and help push you, it's, you know, the possibilities are endless. If I can keep with her, I can pass her later on. I know I can. And it was that positive reinforcement in my head throughout the race, you know, I know I can. I'm feeling good, my legs are feeling good, I'm not feeling tired. These climbs are still feeling easy. You're fueling well. You can do this, you're confident, be brave. Yeah, it was those voices running through my head that kept me going that day.
We're a mile into the downhill from Cordoblum, and I've been passed, I think, maybe 4 times, and this kind of sucks.
So on the climb up to Col de Balme, I can see that I'm making ground on her, and I can see that I'm moving better than her. I didn't push super hard. I just kept going at the pace that I was going at, knowing that if I didn't catch her on the climb, I'd be able to pass her on the descent. And halfway up the climb, just before we reached the contour up to Col de Balme, I passed her. So I was like, I'm good. I've got this. So I pushed a little, and yeah, I didn't see her again.
You are safe, no worries. Just relax and be smart, okay? It's your day.
The descent from Fagère, I was calm. I knew no one was chasing me. No one was right behind me, so I could... The trick to descending is to not be tense.
you've got to let loose, you've got to like, you know, be calm, and it's almost like dancing. You can't be stiff when you dance. It's the same with running downhill. It's not a feeling you get very often in a career. So I really tried to soak it up. But at the same time, I also just wanted to get to the finish as quick as possible. It's a surreal experience. I don't think I'm ever going to have anything come close to that unless I win here again.
Let's celebrate another finisher from United States, another finisher from Hoka team, Ali McLaughlin.
I have a lot of friends like cheering, and I want to smile for them, but I'm like also heartbroken. So I don't have regrets particularly, but I question, am I trying to do too much? Between just like traveling, partying, base jumping, paragliding, but bottom line, I'm not changing a thing.
I can feel very lucky if I'm just waking up and smell the coffee. It doesn't need to be like grandiose to be something that matters.
Emily Forsberg's one of the greatest trail running athletes of all time. She's truly a legend of the sport. She's a leader of the sport. And she is both a huge personality, but at her core, a really simple and pure person. After her 2 pregnancies, come back to racing and come back incredibly strong and fierce as a competitor.
And here I planted some apple, pear, and cherry trees. It's old apple tree, old apple tree. I have a grandiose plan for the garden when I stop running.
The farm, it's a lot of work, and I love being like a farmer. If I didn't get tired from the work outside, I would do it all the hours I'm not running. But it's hard work, that too. So to live a life where it feels like first I'm in respect with nature and also like close to nature, and to be able to give something to the world, which can be small or big or something in between. I think it's like the anchor and that the family can bring you that can help, but I'm not sure that like everything, like it's still like I want to be very present with them and I want to have energy with them, and sometimes I prioritize that instead of a very hard training, because I know that if I do this, I will not be able to do this with the girls. So it's a priority, but for me it feels like it's really worth it, and I'm very grateful to be a mother, and the family means a lot to me.
I think she's in the best shape that she has ever been. Like when you see the times that she's putting on training, it's it's the best that she's been. Then like she's a long race, and long race is like everything can happen. It's hard to know that, but I think the preparation is there. So then it's more on the execution and having a good day. So now it's on that, and it will be exciting to be following the race.
My name is Jonathan Albin. I'm from the UK, but I live here in Norway, and I'm a trail runner.
But it's
hard that downhill because it's so runnable.
Yeah, it is runnable there, and then when you do this contouring. Emily is, I guess, a friend. She's married to Killian. They both live just 20 minutes away. So we've done a lot of training together. We've been on some trips together. I can learn from Emily, and I'm guessing there's some stuff Emily can learn from me. I raced CCC last year. She has raced previously, but I think she stopped a little bit early. So, I don't know, we're going to make a little bit of a team, and then we'll be both heading down to Chamonix to see if we can both do the best race possible.
Have you done Mefjället?
No, I heard it's really runnable.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just the last part where you can, or it's a bit steeper, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it important to share experience?
Yeah, it's always fun to talk with with other runners, their experience, and yeah.
Especially when you do the same course, because everyone has a different experience, but you run the exact same trail.
Yeah.
Good luck, and see you on the start.
Yeah, good luck.
So Jonathan Albin is an incredibly talented trail runner. He's an OCC champion. He was second place last year at CCC, and just an incredibly meticulous and strategic trail runner. He leaves nothing to chance in his preparation, and so we would expect him to have a terrific race this year at the CCC.
A simple person. I just like to be out in nature, moving, running. That's where I'm happiest. I'm a little bit shy. I still just like to be myself, just out there. I wouldn't say I control everything. I certainly don't control the weather. A lot of my training isn't very specific, but I really have to try and make some workouts extremely specific. For CCC, it's probably the longest race I'll do this year, so I have to do some longer activities. And that's really important, not just to build yourself up physically, but also to test things like nutrition strategies, because nutrition is such a massive part of ultra running. So actually that's probably the thing that I'm weakest with. So just being able to go out long enough so you can sort of like really get into that state where your stomach isn't very happy anymore, and see what foods work and see how you can overcome that discomfort is really important. So this is how many hours I've used the machine since I got it. And then this is the altitude. Take it down. It's really hard to train for the exact climate that I'm going to be racing in a few weeks' time. Also the altitude. I live at sea level. We're going to be racing up to maybe 2,000 metres or so. So that's something that it's really hard to train for. That's why I have the altitude tent, to try and have a little bit of adaptation so I can sleep in that. I think I can win. I think I should be able to win. And I think I've always tried to tell myself, why shouldn't I be able to win? Because if you think you can win, then normally it's a lot easier to win.
Well, the CCC is a beautiful race, and it, of course, that acronym stands for Courmayeur, Champs-Lac, Chamonix. And the race essentially is a half circle of the UTMB course. This really is a 100K race with 6,100 meters of climbing.
I'm definitely not a people person, and usually on start lines I end up tucked away in the corner, just sort of like trying to stay as relaxed as possible.
I'm very excited to be out for a whole day of running, and that's what I want to keep in mind. And I see many familiar faces, friends and runners, and I'm just feeling very happy to be there. I'm not stressed because my main objective was to finish and have a good day out there. So I just wanted to embrace all the moments in the long day ahead.
It's really surreal when then they say go and then you start running, and all of a sudden you have to concentrate on how many people are around you, where you are, whether there's people in the way filming or the crowd, and it's from the very first second really intense.
difficulty of the CCC is just the enormous amount of climbing in the race. One is the Grand Col Ferret, but it's a big climb. It's the high point of the race. It's the crossing between Italy and Switzerland. The area of the race that's always a real difficulty is the Bovine climb, just after Champay-Lac. You've got a lot of kilometers in vertical in your legs, and that's usually where there's a definitive move that's made in the race.
I wouldn't say I had a strategy for the start, but I knew I couldn't start too hard. And I think by the first top, I was something like 5 minutes behind the lead and it back in 27th place, I think. So that was a little bit far back than what I would have liked. But there's no panicking. I mean, you just have to run your race, hope things will come back to you, manage yourself, and just see what happens.
I'm in the first climb and I'm feeling really good and under control, and I know I'm a strong climber, so I wanted to be close to the top there with the top women, but I didn't think that I would be the first one. Then I had planned for the flat sections to take it a bit easier, as it's not my strength. Jiang Sheng is coming and we're running together. It's very nice.
At the moment, I don't have like a race that I want to win. I just know that how I want to perform on it, and I want to do it like well. So that's where I am at the moment. CCC, it will be special because I don't feel like an ultra runner, and 100 kilometers feels horrible long. Like 10 years ago, I could run a couple of 100 kilometers per summer, like races. During my 2 pregnancies that were pretty close, I kind of lost a lot of training and endurance. After the pregnancies, I haven't done any ultras, and now I feel terrified for the distance. So I will just do my best. I really don't know how it will go.
Really love it up here. It's very wild and peaceful. Let's go down.
I want to finish the race. Of course. Now, of course, I would like to fight for a good position, but it's hard to know where I'm at that 12, 13 hours race when I haven't done it for 6 years.
I was always gradually catching people throughout the entire race, so that's a real morale booster, and it made me realise that there is still a possibility. But later on in the race, when I got told that I was 9 to 10 minutes behind the lead, I have to say I did kind of think that's a big ask to try and close that gap and then manage to push forwards and win. So to be honest, at halfway, I didn't think it was really going to be possible, but there's no way I was going to give up. So I was always going to push on and give it my all.
After 4 or 5 hours, I started to feel a pain, which I have had before in the foot, and it just increased and increased and increased. So the hardest part was to try to let those thoughts go and just keep going.
When I came into the aid station, it was down to business. I knew what I wanted to get it quick and I wanted to get out of there. And that's exactly how me and Henrietta ran the aid station. I came in, I got out what I wanted, and I left. So I think it was like between 15 and 30 seconds at the aid station.
Is that water? Which is water? See you later.
He seemed like he was on a mission, to be honest. He wanted to get quickly in and out. He didn't seem like he wanted to sit down, although I told him to sit down. So he was just like, ding, ding. So, yeah, he's on a mission.
When I say I wasn't a competitive person, I'm becoming one, I think that's very much Henrietta's personality rubbing off on me. She was always the really serious one. She wants to prepare perfectly. And I think being around her has made me push my limits and made me win more races and made me a better athlete. The main reason I did come to Norway was because of Henrietta. She was the love of my life. I mean, as soon as we met, it's kind of things just clicked, and we've been together a long time now. And when she said, I want to move back home to Norway, do you want to come? I immediately said yes, because obviously I was going to follow her wherever she went in the world.
Not a lot of trail runners seem to know about the boiling trick. It's like an old school Norwegian.
Henrietta is very much my coach in lots of different ways. I've never actually had a coach. I've just bumbled along finding my own way with sport, and that really worked for a certain amount of time. I'm getting ready. It was from that point that I had to start making my own philosophies for training and coaching myself, and having Henrietta as a sounding board to give me tips or to have a look from the outside was invaluable, and she is a big part as to why I have been successful as an athlete. So I think if there was ever two people that were meant for each other, it was me and Henrietta, and it's not been dull one day since we met, and I wouldn't have changed anything.
I'm coming into Champek and I see Mireia from my team there, and I'm going to take a lot of water on me. And going out. It's a pretty fast aid station. I knew that Emily Haugood was behind me, so I thought that we could run a bit together. But then it started with a bit of runnable section and then a bit downhill where my foot started to hurt more and more. So it was hard to go fast there. And from there it was a little fight with the pain.
Just about see the leader. I'm running past him and I'm trying to run really strongly so I look strong and try and break his wheel a little bit. And I kept that going for quite some time after, and I get that kick of you're now leading the race. So I've come into the Valocine aid station. I've got 500 milligrams of boiled Coke, which was the plan, and I'm putting 500 milligrams of water into my race vest, which jumped out of my race vest before I've left. So I've left the aid station with 500 ml less water than I wanted to. Yeah, it is really high risk. I knew there was a river that I could fill up in, so I'm running along up the climb. I'm coming towards the river. I'm thinking, okay, thank God, I can finally fill up and get some water. The river is bone dry.
Great job, John.
And now it's really red alert. This could end drastically.
It's just very hard to run like 4 hours with sharp pain and then know that you have at least 3-4 hours to go. Like, it's always really hard to take a decision to stop.
Aqua! Aqua, aqua! Running along the river with 1 kilometre left is when you start thinking, okay, I've done this now. It really is a case of you look over your shoulder along the river there, you can see back 300, 400 metres, and then I think, okay, this is mine now, I've won. But then the crowd is there and they really sort of expect something of you, and it is really fun to then go and say thank you to them. And the win isn't just for me, it's for her as well. So it was cool that she was at the finish line. It was fun that I saw her along the course. It's actually the first time that she's crewed me properly in a race like that because she wasn't racing herself. So to share that with her is quite special.
Je m'appelle Mathieu Blanchard, je suis bicitoyen français et canadien et je suis ultra-trailer professionnel.
Mathieu Blanchard is a real incredible emerging ultra runner. He's really only been ultra and trail running and racing for the past 5 years. And he's a really solid athlete. Like, if you look at him, he's not a really thin athlete. He's got strong, muscular. He's a fast runner at the marathon distance, but he also is an incredibly talented and tenacious runner for that 100-mile-plus distance. He was 3rd in the UTMB in 2021. He was 2nd last year in the UTMB, just 15 minutes behind Kilian Jornet. This could be his year at UTMB.
Ça demande une préparation spéciale. C'est sûr qu'il faut absorber une telle distance. Hein. On parle de 20 heures de temps pour les premiers, une quarantaine d'heures pour les derniers. Donc c'est sûr qu'être en mouvement aussi longtemps, c'est difficile. Encore 2. Donc pour moi, le secret, c'est de vraiment construire un corps qui est capable de descendre longtemps, longtemps, longtemps sur ces chemins, qui fait qu'on a tendance à aller un petit peu plus vite que ce que notre corps serait capable de tenir. Et c'est ça qui est sournois à l'UTMB, c'est qu'il y a beaucoup de descentes longues, raides, avec peu d'obstacles. Donc, il faut trouver cet équilibre où on appuie un petit peu sur l'accélérateur, mais sur le frein en même temps. Voilà, il faut jouer sur les deux. Et bien souvent, les athlètes professionnels comme les athlètes récréatifs vont appuyer un petit peu trop sur l'accélérateur et on va avoir quelques soucis passer la mi-course. Bon, mais on rentre au chalet, on va aller un petit peu se reposer maintenant. Vas-y.
On est sur de la mécanique de précision là.
On est sur de la mécanique de précision, ouais. On va utiliser des chaînes musculaires au niveau des jambes de manière, on va dire, appropriée et différente. Donc l'idée, c'est d'arriver à stimuler, à étirer, etc., à travailler sur le corps. Et puis après, c'est pour ça que j'utilise des patchs. On va venir stimuler certaines zones pour que le cerveau ressente cette stimulation et utilise les muscles, notamment en cas de fatigue.
Ligne de départ, on passe la barrière. Plus possible de faire marche arrière puisque la barrière se ferme derrière nous et il y a déjà énormément de monde, de public installé là, prêt à encourager toutes ces guerrières et ces guerriers prêts à affronter cet énorme défi.
I feel so excited that the race is finally starting and that I'm with my teammates and We're walking towards the start line. We didn't forget our gear, our shoes are tied, and we are all ready to go. My name is Courtney Dualter. I live in Colorado, and I like running really, really far.
Well, Courtney Dualter is an incredible athlete. She's really a generational athlete. She's a legend of the sport already, and she's still in the prime of her racing career, and she's obviously the greatest of all time.
When I went into this summer, my goal was to do 2 100-mile races 3 weeks apart, the Western States 100 and then the Hard Rock 100, and I would have been very happy to finish both of those and call it a season. But the opportunity was there to add one more to the summer, and we decided we had to try and see what was possible. Yeah, we will see what one more 100-mile race feels like, and my biggest goal is to finish it. It is so loud at the start line. People are cheering and going crazy, and it's filling the air with electricity, which I feel it on my insides, building as just excitement and ready to go. Like, let's do this thing.
J'aime bien faire mes 3-4 premiers pas un peu dynamiques pour me libérer aussi de la troupe qui est derrière nous, parce qu'il faut savoir qu'il y a environ 3000 coureurs et coureuses derrière nous.
The UTMB is the ultimate finale race of the UTMB week. UTMB stands for Ultra Trail du Mont-Blanc. The race has 170 kilometers of racing, over 10,000 meters of elevation gain, and there are about 10 big climbs of 1,000 meters. Brings you back to Chamonix completely physically destroyed, but mentally more alive than you've ever felt in your life.
I love this race. Gives you these huge towns full of a big party of people celebrating trail running and cheering you on. And then you go out into the trails and the mountains, and you are just by yourself listening to your breathing and your feet, and it becomes very simple in your headlamp overnight.
Aujourd'hui, je trouve ça dommage de perdre trop de temps ou de pas maximiser, en tout cas de pas optimiser les ravitaillements, parce que c'est hyper difficile de faire une attaque dans une montée, de gratter 2 minutes à notre concurrent, et c'est hyper facile de les perdre ces 2 minutes dans le ravitaillement si c'est mal fait. Alix, c'est ma compagne et c'est un petit peu mon arme secrète aussi dans mon sport. Elle m'aide beaucoup dans mon quotidien, elle m'aide beaucoup sur les courses aussi, puisqu'elle va faire mon assistance. Une assistance va être de manière très pragmatique, être capable d'enlever nos produits consommés, d'en remettre des nouveaux, nos flasques, mais elle va aussi être capable aussi avec des regards, avec des mots, avec des connexions au niveau de la peau, de nous transférer de l'énergie.
Allez, c'est parti. C'est parti. Il faut y aller, Mathieu.
Pour
Allez Manon, c'est bien Manon.
As I'm climbing Grand Col Ferret, my legs are feeling really tired already, which makes me a little nervous because there's still a long race to go.
Tu lui as repris 2 minutes là, ok? Matt, il y a le podium là, hein?
C'est le moment de la course aussi, au niveau de lucidité est très bas. C'est-à-dire que notre cerveau est plus trop alimenté en oxygène depuis quelques temps aux dépens de nos jambes. Hein, et donc c'est sûr que notre niveau de réflexion, de choix va être très limité.
Allez, c'est parti, sors.
Mets-les devant, mets-les devant. Deux ailes devant.
Je te rince un peu le visage, je prends tes vestiaires. Je le sens mieux. Je le sens mieux. Il dit que c'est dur, mais c'est un ultra. Hein. Alors, comment tu peux te sentir bien après autant de kilomètres et autant de dénivelé? Donc, non, c'est la compétition. Non, par contre, allez, je t'aime très fort. Tu te bats.
Je me répète souvent aussi, c'est que le calvaire que j'ai vécu depuis toutes ces heures, jeter l'éponge maintenant, ça serait un gâchis en fait. J'aurais souffert tout ça pour rien.
Allez, Conquérir. That's great, good job. Wonderful. Allez, come on.
I am dead. This race is so hard. This summer has been so hard, and I am feeling completely empty of any power left in my leg. When I arrive into Forclaz, it is the biggest and craziest crowd I've ever seen at a running event. This is insane. I can't believe all of these people are out here cheering. I'm so thankful for all of those people giving up their day to be out supporting all of the runners, but the signs and everything that was for me specifically it filled my heart and it's giving me a boost to keep going.
À ce moment-là, je ne regarde même pas ma montre. Je n'ai aucune idée du temps que j'ai fait, 20h, 21h, 22h, 23h, peu importe. J'ai vécu une sacrée course. Et donc, plutôt que de sprinter cette année, je décide de prendre mon temps, de taper dans les mains, de regarder les gens dans les yeux, de dire merci. Les larmes représentent surtout de la délivrance et montrent aussi la souffrance que j'ai eue pour rejoindre cette ligne d'arrivée. Il y a une part de joie aussi dans ces larmes, de voir mes proches qui sont là. Et voilà, c'est un moment fort entre nous aussi.
Never given so many high fives in my life. As I'm crossing the line, I have an overwhelming feeling of disbelief. I cannot believe that I made it here and the summer is done and we completed our challenge. And immediately I am looking for Kevin and my family and just wanting to hug everybody.
What's next for you?
Next for me is to fully relax and recharge and start scheming on what a new idea could be for 2024. I am always looking for a new challenge.
Yesterday I told the team that, okay, I'm retiring now. Today I feel much better than yesterday.
Maybe to step up to the full course would be the next challenge.
Si j'ai réussi à rejoindre la ligne d'arrivée, je l'ai fait grâce à toutes ces personnes. Est-ce qu'on s'y habitue? Non, jamais.